up, Brian?
Hey Raven, how are you?
I'm good. How are you today?
Yeah, I'm doing great. Feeling great.
Yes. All right. So I know you wanted to talk to me about all the bull crap that has been going on in the social media world. So
I
let's
know.
go. What do you have for me today?
Yeah, I know it's been a pretty crazy week and a lot of stuff popping. So I figured we'll switch gears a little bit and let's just have an open kind of. We don't have a round table, maybe a round Zoom screen, and just like chat
Yes.
about it. So, so Raven, I was thinking, with all the Facebook whistleblower news that came out, and you were the one that's telling me this earlier that I guess Instagram and Facebook weren't working this past Monday. So I must be an old man and totally didn't even know that happened. But anyway, it's been a lot going on with Facebook. And I guess my first question is, do you think the Facebook whistleblower and all the news surrounding it and everything coming out, do you think it's a big deal or not?
I don't think it's a big deal because people are going to use Facebook regardless. I think it has become this monster that people have been addicted to for a while,
Okay.
that any news is just going to make them want to use the app more. And especially like with the shutdown that happened on Monday, there was a complete like 6-hour outage. And this was after the whole whistleblower thing came out. It was after.
Yeah.
And then as soon as Facebook was up and running again, people were like, yes, we're back, baby. And I'm just like, okay, no one's listening. No one cares. No one cares. What do you think? Do you think it's a big deal?
I have mixed feelings about it. So I don't know about you, but I know a lot of people, and like for myself personally, I haven't used Facebook and I couldn't tell you when. I have a profile on there and I joke that it's like today's version of the yellow page. It's like you need one just to let people know you exist and so they can find you, that they look you up. And I use Facebook Messenger for people if they haven't shared phone numbers with or something. So I actually use that more than I've logged into Facebook.
What about Instagram?
That's the thing. I use Instagram just about every day. Well, when I say use, as in I'm the silent person in the party who only goes on the Instagram just to scroll the feed. I haven't posted. I'm just silently watching, but but I don't post anything personally, and I really don't use it a lot personally. Even the scrolling part, I'm only on there for Owl Street and work, and that's pretty much it. But I mean, do you know a lot of people personally that are still using Facebook? Because I know Instagram.
Yeah, my mom is on it. My mom is on it.
Well, that's the thing. Well, do you know? Okay, let me rephrase this. Do you know anyone our age who's on it a lot?
No.
That's. I mean, I know lots of people that are on it still, but they're all older than me, at least by a few years, if not more.
Yeah.
I don't know anyone my age. You know anyone younger than us?
Nope.
I mean, we're pretty young, but no, just kidding. I mean, either.
No, there's no one younger than me that uses it. There's no one my age that uses it.
So that's where that's for me. I had mixed feelings about this coming out about Facebook, because I feel in some ways it's not a big deal because dude, that Facebook, who uses Facebook anymore? Like, who cares? No, we're all moved over. Yeah, exactly.
But not for nothing.
Yeah.
When they were talking about how it incites hate and all of these like political messages that are pushed out and like blown up because it gets a reaction and stuff like that. I have seen that firsthand.
Yeah.
Like my mom thinks that she's Frederick Douglass. So she goes on Facebook on purpose to start fights with Trump supporters.
Yeah.
So it's like it almost like is the platform that you use to to debate on political issues.
Yeah.
Which I think, I honestly thought it was a good thing because we're actually having conversations with people on the other side of the aisle, and it's giving us that forum to actually have those conversations. But I could see how it could go left with like groups and everything else on how everybody is coming together to like make a plan to like live out these thoughts, these hateful thoughts in real life. So I don't know. I don't know. It's like a fine line. It's like, I like the fact that we're able to have conversations with different people, but at the same time, I don't like the fact that we can congregate and like do harm to other people. So,
right. Well, I guess like you're right. I'm sorry. I got to keep myself laser focused on my own question to make sure I don't get too off track. So like the question of is Facebook good or not, or this this is the idea of having a social media platform where you can share stories and something that's Facebook-esque, whether that's good or not is a different question. But the question is this whistleblower stuff, is it a big deal or not? And I think I guess it'll come down to not exactly a hot take, but it's a mixed bag. In some ways, I think it is a big deal. Well, all right, I'll be a little cranky here. I think maybe it's a big deal for the public, but for me personally, I'm like, idiots. Duh.
right.
Of course, Facebook's been doing this to get money. Of course, it's bad for your health. Of course, they are doing things to incentivize virality and clicks that are just at best gossip rags and kind of like scandalous, the National Enquirer of social media, and at worst political hate. And well, I mean, we just have to say the date and everyone knows what we're talking about. I say January 6th, and like, oh yeah, Facebook. So part of me is like, this is not a big deal because like, duh.
Yeah.
But that's maybe me being cranky, because I think for maybe the bigger public, maybe it's not a duh. Maybe it's like, oh, a light bulb. So I know it's a mixed bag there.
Right.
I think it's definitely everything with the whistleblower that I think that does matter or is important, is that it, I think, brings up a lot of deep questions that maybe not everyone's been asking or thinking about, and deep philosophical questions like what you're saying before about, is this Facebook or is it us? And I'm not really pro Facebook or super against Facebook. I do have the opinion that I don't think it's the healthiest. So I'm not totally objective. So I have a little bias there. I don't think it's great, but playing a little devil's advocate, we're asking about the content, if we prioritize good stuff versus bad stuff, or hate versus generosity or things like that. Man, when you're saying that, what I thought about, like, well, what do you find to be good? Because I mean, doesn't Facebook push a lot of puppy videos and like, someone got saved by a horse in a storm, and here's how we gave these children new backpacks in some third world country. I mean, there's lots. So I think it's more like I don't know if they prioritize hate or good. I think it's more that it's just like, here's something really intensely emotional. We don't care what the emotion is. Whether it's super intense happiness or cheesiness, or but then I don't want to say it's necessarily a slippery slope, but I think kind of like that, because Facebook does this stuff, and I'm not defending Facebook, but it's also the same thing that cable news does to get people to watch. It's the same thing that cable, period. I mean, how can we have well, I guess people don't watch cable as much now, it's streaming sites, but the same thing. We can't have 100 different channels or 500 channels or whatever if they're not pushing stuff that people, this high intensity emotional stuff. No one will watch it if it's just boring.
Right.
No one watch anything. So where do you draw the lines, between, I don't know.
I think the problem is that Facebook is way too big and way too overpopulated, and like there's way too much going on.
Yeah.
So obviously they're going to look out for them.
Yeah.
That's obvious. But at the same time, I think it's just a reflection of our values. We're a capitalist society. We're selfish, self-absorbed, greedy.
Yeah.
People like the good people are like this much. You know what I mean? Well, I'm not going to say that. I'll say it's probably half. And if you're really like a good person, you don't care about social media anyway. You're doing it for for like the bottom of your heart. It's not performative, right?
No.
So you're not gonna necessarily be like, I'm at the soup kitchen,
Yeah, right.
so
Yeah.
so they don't have enough good content coming in if you're really gonna be a good person and just do stuff to do it. So
But I mean, even that example though, I'm getting really maybe
yeah.
deeply splitting hairs here, but if someone posts a picture of them at the soup kitchen, is it still good?
Mm. Should the world see more of that, right? And I think it all boils down to intent, right? So me
Yeah.
on my personal side, I would never
Yeah.
like take a picture and be like a selfie with a homeless man and be like, look at me. I would never do that. However, when I see those videos of those barbers that go out and like cut the homeless guy's hair and stuff like that, I'm just
Yeah.
like, yo, the world needs to see more of that. And as my social media manager side kicks in, and I'm just like, oh yeah, like I eat that up. Like I'm just like, give me all the good stuff. Give me all the
Yeah.
good stuff. So I think that we as a people, if we're going to try to like combat all of this negative messaging that's happening on Facebook, we do need to start kind of showing up in our goodness a little bit more and walking in our
Sure.
humanity and
Sure.
saying like, hey, like I'm not trying to be boastful, but I am trying to overcome all of this negativity that's on the platform with better content.
Yeah. Yeah.
So maybe it does fall on us to really show up and show out and do more in the positive space.